It's Friday, February 28th.
Well, friends, the people have spoken. They're ready to stand up for Canada.
4 more years for Ford. Ontario's PC party winning a third majority government after a campaign largely focused on the tariff threats from the U.S.
And meeting standards for the border, I believe those have been met. Is the work finished? No. It will continue.
Deadline approaching. Ottawa says it has made progress on border security in the hopes of avoiding these tariffs.
If you paid your $10 a month and you didn't get your service, you should get some form of compensation.
Amazon agitation. A Quebec law firm is looking to launch a class action lawsuit against Amazon over delays with 2-day Prime deliveries in the province.
We're kind of left in the dark, and that's the frustrating part in all of this.
Sitting and waiting. Some people can see their trapped vehicles inside this partially collapsed Ottawa garage, but they have no idea when they can get their vehicles back. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning, everybody. Anne-Marie and Kelsey are away today. I'm Lindsey Deluce.
Hello, I'm Teddy Wilson. Happy Friday, everybody.
That's right. Good morning. I'm Winston C. We made it to the end of February.
Yes. I know, can you believe
January
it?
feels like it's 74 days, and February went by like this.
It really did.
Is that crazy?
Went by super quickly.
March 1st tomorrow, the start of meteorological spring, as Kelsey would say.
That's right.
I know,
yes.
it's very exciting.
You're repping her. I love that.
Yeah,
Meteorological spring. Well, there's a lot to talk about today. I want to talk a little bit about why you might be a bit tired today.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that because it's very interesting. But let's turn to the top stories we're following today. And obviously, we're leading with the Ontario election. Doug Ford and the Ontario PCs have secured a third straight majority government.
This election, we ask the people for a mandate, a strong mandate that outlives and outlasts the Trump administration.
Premier Ford getting exactly what he was hoping for by calling a snap election more than a year ahead of schedule. Ford said he needed a strong mandate from voters to deal with the threat of U.S. tariffs. That issue dominated the short campaign, though Ontario's ongoing healthcare crisis also a major topic. His party now holds 80 seats at Queen's Park, an improvement on the 79 they held entering this campaign. Voter turnout in Ontario is at about 44% across the province, which is actually up 2% from the 2022 election.
The Ontario Liberal Party is back to official party status, and that's a big milestone.
While the Liberal Party won 14 seats to regain official party status, Ontario Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie still does not have her own seat at Queen's Park. The former Mississauga mayor lost her own riding to the Conservative candidate there. Crombie says she plans to stay on as Liberal leader.
Our job is to hold this government to account. And that is the job that we are going to do.
And the Ontario NDP remain the official opposition at Queen's Park, but lost 3 seats to the Liberals. Merritt Stiles speaking after her first campaign leading the party, saying she and the NDP will stand up for the people of Ontario in the face of U.S. President Donald Trump. The NDP hold 26 seats at the moment.
I want to say to each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you for working so hard for the Ontario Greens.
Ontario Green Party leader Mike Schreiner addressing his supporters Thursday night as he retained his seat at Queen's Park. The Ontario Greens have 2 seats in the provincial legislature. And to news south of the border now, as the U.S. tariff deadline moves closer, Canada pointing to progress made on border security and drug enforcement.
The evidence is irrefutable. The progress is being made. In my view, any test that was put on this country, on Canada, in terms of showing progress and meeting standards for the border, I believe those have been met.
In a social media post, U.S. President Donald Trump says he still plans to hit Canada and Mexico with tariffs on Tuesday. The post also says the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. is at, quote, unacceptable levels. Over the past 40 days, the RCMP has made 524 arrests and seizures across Canada. This includes more than 46 kilograms of fentanyl. If tariffs do come on Tuesday, Prime Minister Trudeau says Canada will have an immediate and extremely strong response.
You mentioned Canada. I think you're trying to find a divide between us that doesn't exist. We're the closest of nations, and we had very good discussions today, but we didn't discuss Canada.
Thank you.
You heard there President Donald Trump shutting down a line of questioning about how King Charles feels about Canada, or him wanting Canada to become the 51st state. This happened during yesterday's visit to Washington by UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. King Charles has invited President Trump to the UK for an unprecedented second state dinner. President Trump has accepted. Well, the families of 2 murdered Indigenous women are responding with mixed emotions to the discovery of potential human remains at the Prairie Green landfill in Manitoba.
Although it's a good thing that we found the remains, it's also very, very hard. We're going to continue fighting.
No family, no person should go through what we went through.
Families of Mercedes Myron and Morgan Harris visited the landfill on Tuesday, the day the province announced the potential discovery. For years, family members and Indigenous leaders have pushed for the search for the remains at the landfill. It finally started last December under Manitoba's NDP government. Premier Wab Kinew says DNA testing on the potential remains could take weeks. Serial killer Jeremy Skibitsky was convicted for the murders of Rebecca Contois, Mercedes Myron, and Morgan Harris, and an unidentified victim known as Buffalo Woman. A Quebec law firm is looking for court approval to launch a class action lawsuit against Amazon, alleging the company did not respect the 2-day delivery times promised to Prime subscribers.
We're talking about a lot of complaints and a lot of delay. And so it just doesn't make sense that if you close all your warehouses, that service is going to be better for cheaper.
So Amazon customers in Quebec are getting frustrated over delivery times. In January, Amazon shut down its warehouses in Quebec. Orders are now shipped from outside the province and delivered by third-party couriers. Amazon says this is all about delivering services in an efficient and cost-effective way. The company's website still advertises free 2-day shipping as a perk on Prime items, but CTV News found dozens with estimated delivery times consistently between 4 and 6 days. A spokesperson for Amazon says delivery speeds can vary for reasons including weather and supply chain issues. People with vehicles stuck in that partially collapsed parking garage in Ottawa are wondering when they can get their cars back.
Saw the images of my red truck being on a lot of the media sources. I was shocked and worried as to what the next steps were going to be and how long this was actually going to take.
As you saw in the footage we showed you yesterday, about 50 vehicles became trapped when the top floor of the garage caved in on Wednesday. Crews have since conducted a controlled demolition on the front of the parkade. Engineers still working on the cause, but city officials say snowbanks on the top floor were very likely a contributing factor. The owner of the parkade says it's working with the city to make sure the site is safe. There's no timeline yet on when the vehicles will be removed. Well, a Minnesota man is sharing his unique talent with his community.
Probably doing the roof is the toughest part. It's a lot of work figuring all that out.
Jerry Hackett has a knack for making realistic models of historic buildings out of toothpicks. He first gets a hold of the blueprints and then gets to work. One model Jerry recently made is of a local courthouse. He donated it afterwards so they could have it on display. Jerry says he does not consider himself an artist, that it's just a hobby.